All right, a lot to talk about in the aftermath of that San Francisco 49ers 30-24 win over the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. This is the San Francisco 49ers Report by Chat Sports. Chase Sr. here with you. And as always, no matter where you are or how you're tuned in, we greatly appreciate you for making the show a part of your night, or if you're waking up with us on this Monday, thanks for making it a part of your morning routine. All throughout this week, I had said, even if the 49ers go out and dominate the Cowboys, or even if they escape with the victory, I wasn't going to let myself overreact. I wasn't going to get too pumped up. I wasn't going to be that impressed with the Niners' victory in this game. Did San Francisco need a dub going into the bye week? For sure. The Niners, after this 30-24 victory, level up that record at 4-4 going into the bye. Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the road coming out of the bye in Week 10. The Niners also go into the bye week at a good time when they need it mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. And even though the Niners, in a must-win game, were impressive in a lot of moments and handled business, San Francisco should never measure themselves up with the Dallas Cowboys. That is not the team that they are aspiring to be. The 49ers should aspire to be a team like the Kansas City Chiefs, who, by the way, still undefeated, two-time defending Super Bowl champions, and on this same field at Levi Stadium last week, the Niners got embarrassed. So yes, this was a good quality victory for the Niners. They had a rest disadvantage against the Cowboys. But the Cowboys aren't very good, and I still have concerns about this Niners team because they nearly gave this game away on a silver platter to the Cowboys, and if they would have lost this game, it would have taken the cake as one of the worst losses in the Kyle Shanahan era. As the Cowboys made it interesting, they outscored the Niners 14-3 in the fourth quarter after the Niners seemed to have blown the doors off of Dallas with 21 third-quarter points. Now, if you were watching the watch party, I gave a spirited halftime speech. I was very fired up, fed up, and annoyed with the first half performance from the Niners as they went into the break down 10-6. Why was I annoyed? Because we continue week in and week out to see the same constant debilitating issues. The Niners this year have been their worst enemy. The Niners this year have shot themselves in the foot on too many occasions. The Niners this year have continued to make dumb mistake after dumb mistake, and in the first half we saw that. Kyle Shanahan said it on his way to the locker room on the broadcast. We had 80 yards brought back in explosive plays. We've committed a bunch of dumb penalties. Brock Purdy missed a crucial throw on a 4th and short. And this is why the Niners are where they are at 4-4, because they continue to be a flawed, undisciplined, inconsistent, up and down football team. And in that first half, coming off that Kansas City game, I hated what I saw from Brock Purdy. Why has Brock Purdy gotten to this point? Brock Purdy has been an elite quarterback in this league because he is accurate, he makes quick decisions, he pulls the trigger with decisiveness, he throws with touch and anticipation, has command of the offense. Well, against Kansas City, in the first half against Dallas, he was skittish, he was indecisive, he was not accurate, he was killing the Niners. For the game, Brock Purdy really responded, and you can thank the Niners coming out guns a-blazing in that third quarter, thanks to my halftime speech, and Brock Purdy ended up having a solid game. Who's a better quarterback, Dak Prescott or Brock Purdy? I think it's Brock Purdy, who is now 3-0 against Dak Prescott in his career. Purdy 18-26 tonight, 260 yards, a touchdown through the air to George Kittle, and he also ran for a touchdown. So I'm glad that Purdy was able to respond to adversity, respond to an ugly first half, and especially help to spark the Niners in that third quarter when at one moment in this game, San Francisco was humming with those 21 third quarter points. They outscored the Cowboys 24-3 at one point from the time that it was 10-3. So Purdy being able to respond was great. This defense, picking off Dak Prescott twice, that was a good sign. Nick Bosa continues to have an all-pro season. But then the Niners let the Cowboys back in the game, and they made it way too close. Way closer than it should have been. Nick Sorensen playing soft coverage. There were blown coverages on the back end, leading to wide-open CeeDee Lamb touchdown receptions. And I'm harping on all of this because we've seen these issues all season. And if they continue, the Niners will not reach their ceiling. They will not reach their potential in what is a loaded, crowded, and very competitive NFC and a loaded, crowded, competitive NFC West. The Rams are for real. They're hot. They're getting healthy. The Arizona Cardinals beat the Niners earlier this year. They're in first place in the NFC West at 4-4. They had a solid win today against Miami with Tua Tagovailoa back. The Seahawks lost to the Buffalo Bills, but my point here is the Niners, with the way that they have played this year, have not done themselves any favors, and because they've blown games, because they've had self-inflicted wounds, don't have a lot of margin for error or room to breathe. And that's why I'm not overly impressed with this win here tonight. 30-24 against a Cowboys team coming off the bye that the Niners are much better than, much more well-coached, and much more talented than. The Niners should be a Super Bowl contender. The Dallas Cowboys are not. But when you match the Niners up with some of the elite teams in the NFL, I still don't believe that they are there because they are still flawed with their offensive line, with their coaching, with how they play defensively. I need to see more from Brock Purdy because he's had troubling play over the last 2 weeks. And we're going to continue to talk about it on the other side. First, our 49ers Report Instant Reaction postgame show, sponsored by our friends at PrizePicks, the best daily fantasy sports app in the game. Right now, you get $50 when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive that $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. More than 10 million active members, billions of dollars in awarded winnings handed out. And it's daily fantasy sports made easy. You pick 2 or more players. You choose more or less on their projected stats. And you can withdraw your winnings within the app. Tonight, we went 3 for 3 in our picks. Brock Purdy, more than 241.5 passing yards. Check. George Kittle, more than a half rushing and receiving touchdown. He caught a touchdown pass. And Dak Prescott, more than a half pick. He threw 2. 1 to Jair Brown, 1 to Deommodore Lenoi. So PrizePicks. PrizePicks.com/Seal get $50 when you play $5. You don't need to win to receive that $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Now, with the defensive side of the ball, I think there are coaching problems with Nick Sorensen. You can see that at times he's an inexperienced coordinator. Another red flag that I have for this Niners team, when they play elite teams, they're bad on third downs. They're bad in the red zone. That was the case once again. You see coverage breakdowns on the back end. That's bad coaching. But a lot of the Niners' problems defensively, I believe, are personnel. They're not good enough on that side of the ball. So as you look ahead to the November 5th NFL trade deadline, will San Francisco make a move? Will a move solve their issues? They really have 3 elite players on defense. Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, Deommodore Lenoi. Outside of that, this really isn't that good of a defense. They miss Dre Greenlaw a lot. Charvarius Ward has taken a massive step back. Renardo Green has shown signs as a rookie. Malik Mustapha looks to be a really good player, but you miss Greenlaw. You miss Talanoa Hufanga, who's been hurt. Jair Brown really hasn't taken that leap. Outside of Nick Bosa along the defensive line, you're very average. At that linebacking core, you're not that good. And who can you trust at corner outside of Deommodore Lenoi and I guess Renardo Green? I don't trust Charvarius Ward. I don't trust Isaac Yiadom. At linebacker, I don't trust Devondre Campbell. I don't trust D. Winters. I don't trust Jair Brown. And when you have rookies back there, it's hard to trust them as well. So I don't think this Niners defense is talented enough. They don't have enough depth And coaching-wise, they're not good enough. So this is a Niners team that's going to have to be carried by their offense. And the offense, they figured out some of their red zone problems in 2 of their last 3 games, against Seattle and against Dallas. But Brock Purdy's really going to have to carry this team, and he's going to have to play better than he's played the last couple of weeks. As for some star-studded performances and injuries, Deebo Samuel, rib injury. We'll see what happens. Jordan Mason, re-injured his shoulder. We'll see what happens. Going into the bye is obviously going to help those players. In the place of Jordan Mason, how about Isaac Guerendo? 14 carries, 85 yards, a touchdown. He averaged 6.1 yards per carry. And he looked pretty comfortable catching the ball out of the backfield. 3 catches for 17 yards. With Guerendo, I liked him as a prospect. I was at the NFL Combine. I saw him run a 4.3 at 225 pounds, 6 feet. But he started 1 college game, his final game, the bowl game for Louisville last year. We knew that he was raw, but the athletic traits are there. State champion runner in high school, had a lot of hamstring issues in college. He's very raw, but the game is starting to slow down for him, and boy, does the natural ability pop. He runs with physicality, size, speed, and today he ran with decisiveness and vision. He looks to be a player. So if you want to go glass half full and positives from this game, it's the continued youth movement and impact of this rookie class. We know Dominic Pooney is a player. Isaac Guerendo has shown some flashes. Renardo Greeb Malik Mustapha, they played well for this defense. And Ricky Pearsall had an end-around give where he showed off some speed for 39 yards, and he caught 4 passes for 38 yards. Great to see him moving the needle, looking to be a player. And so as you look forward for this team, they're going to have to replenish the cupboard of talent. And it looks like they've hit on a couple of these picks, which will really help them with an aging and expensive roster. George Kittle, like Nick Bosa, like Fred Warner, having an all-pro caliber season. 6 catches, 128 yards, 21.3 yards per catch, and a touchdown. He was targeted 7 times along a 43. George Kittle in the open field hasn't lost a step at all. George Kittle with his physicality hasn't lost a step at all. He runs routes like a wide receiver. He has the size of a tight end, and he can block really well. He's the best all-around tight end in the game. He's the best overall tight end in the game. Last year, he was a first-team All-Pro. There hasn't been a tight end who's been better than George Kittle this year. Deebo Samuel, when he was in, 4 catches for 71 yards along a 47, targeted 7 times. He has to elevate his game without Brandon Ayuk, and he did that. Now, picking up yards after the catch and breaking tackles, somewhat of a concern there. But even without Ayuk, you're seeing that this Niners team, they can get by Kittle, Deebo, Pearsall, Guerendo. Jacob Cowing didn't even have a catch tonight, but he has some wiggle on the ground. We'll see what happens with Jordan Mason. But they might get back Christian McCaffrey, which can help them in a lot of areas. 3rd down, in the red zone, running it, pass catcher. If Christian McCaffrey is healthy, my goodness. The Niners offense can figure out a lot of their issues. Some people will try to blame Kyle Shanahan. I don't blame him at all. Brock Purdy played poorly. The Niners were awful with penalties. They were undisciplined in that first half. That's not on Kyle Shanahan. The Niners almost blowing the game. Not on Kyle Shanahan. That was on the defense. So a win that was needed for the Niners. They are 4-4. If they would have blown this game to fall to 3-5 with another throw-up-like loss after they choked that one away against the Rams, did the same against the Cardinals, coming off that ugly Chiefs performance in which they got smacked. And if they would have lost this game going into the bye, season over. You're not coming back from 3-5. At 4-4, they're feeling good about themselves. They have some mojo. They have some swagger. And hopefully, the Niners, I got my swagger back. It's too early to say that, but hopefully that's how they feel about themselves. And of course, that's 4 straight wins against the Dallas Cowboys as the Niners continue to own Dak Prescott and Dallas. Mike McCarthy is a dead man walking. This Cowboys team is not very talented. Are the 49ers back in contention? Y for yes, N for no. Let me know. And let me leave you with this on our postgame show. How about them Cowboys? San Francisco. Let's go.